Alma's heels slammed against the marble floor as she sprinted across the ballroom, one hand gripping her headset, the other holding a tray of emergency champagne flutes that absolutely could not shatter. Yet one slipped. It hit the floor, skidded, and nearly crashed into the foot of a man standing behind her. A hand shot out. He caught it before it fell. She froze. Jinwoo Park held the glass effortlessly, looking like he'd been waiting for her to crash straight into him. The soft gold lights overhead caught the sharp angles of his face, the clean black suit stretched over broad shoulders, the subtle tattoo ink peeking from beneath his cuff. His voice dropped low. "You run like someone being chased," he said. "I'm working." Alma shot back, snatching the glass. "And this is the worst time to be." "You didn't even look at me," he murmured. "I'm not here to look at you." "That's a shame." And just like that, her heartbeat betrayed her. Too fast, too loud, too aware of the one man she deliberately spent months avoiding. Jinwoo Park, billionaire tech phenom, terrifyingly focused, infuriatingly good-looking, and the kind of man who stirred trouble just by breathing. Tonight, he was also her client. The stakes are only getting higher. Make sure you subscribe so you don't miss a single moment of this passionate story. The Millennium Crown Hotel ballroom shimmered with hundreds of guests, glittering gowns, and a symphony orchestra playing softly in the background. It was Alma's event, her masterpiece. If anything went wrong, it was her head on the chopping block. Jinwoo's gaze slid down her form with the slow confidence of someone who feared nothing in the world, not even her glare. "Shouldn't you be charming donors instead of getting in my way?" Alma whispered, adjusting her earpiece. I was charming donors," he said. "But then I saw you rushing past like you were trying to outrun me." She stiffened. "You're flattering yourself." His lips curved. "Am I?" She exhaled sharply. She needed to move. She needed to focus. She needed him not to be staring at her like he could peel her layers back with his eyes. But Jinwoo leaned just a little closer, enough that she felt the warmth of his breath against her ear. "You look beautiful tonight," he whispered. Her pulse lurched. "That's inappropriate." "So is staring," he replied. "But you started." "I did not." He tilted his head, eyes glinting. "Alma, you said earlier that rich men can't please a woman. Remember?" Her face flooded with heat. "I was talking to your marketing director. You weren't supposed to hear that." "I hear everything." He lowered his voice even more. "Especially when someone challenges me." Her throat tightened. It wasn't a challenge. It wasn't. He leaned in again, slow, deliberate, dangerous. Then, in a whisper meant to ruin her entire night, he said, "Try me." Alma inhaled sharply. Her hand shook. Her clipboard nearly slipped. And Jinwoo's smile told her he noticed every inch of her reaction. She spun around. "I have actual work to do." She forced herself back into motion, but in her mind his voice kept echoing, taunting, unraveling her focus. "Try me." That whisper had wrapped itself around her, threading heat down her spine. She hated that it worked. She hated even more that he knew it. Minutes later, the orchestra paused to shift pieces, and Alma crossed to the lighting crew to adjust the dimming level. Anything to reset her brain. But before she could finish speaking, a shadow slid behind her again. Jinwoo. His presence was unmistakable. "You never answered me," he said quietly. "About what?" "Whether you meant it." She refused to look at him. "Please stop talking to me, Mr. Park." "Jinwoo," he corrected softly. She swallowed. "Mr. Park." "Say my name," he murmured. "No." "That's okay," he said. "You'll say it later." Her breath stuttered, because she had no idea whether he meant later tonight, later this week, or later in ways she couldn't allow herself to imagine. Before she could respond, a guest approached him, pulling him away. Jinwoo walked off with effortless grace, but his eyes stayed on her until he turned the corner. She exhaled shakily. She needed the gala to end. She needed distance from this man who ate up the oxygen around her. She needed to stop remembering how close his mouth had been to her ear. After the event wrapped successfully and guests spilled out into chauffeured cars, Alma was finishing her post-event checklist when one of Jinwoo's personal assistants walked up to her. "Ms. Nwosu," the assistant said politely, "Mr. Park requests your presence in the VIP lounge." Alma blinked. Requests? Or demands? The assistant hesitated. "He said you'd understand." She cursed silently. The VIP lounge overlooked the city skyline, floor-to-ceiling windows stretching across the room. Jinwoo stood alone, jacket off, tie loosened, sleeves rolled up, looking less like a billionaire CEO and more like temptation molded into human form. "You came," he said. "I didn't have a choice." He chuckled softly. "You always have a choice. You just tend to choose me." Alma crossed her arms. "You wanted something?" "Yes." He stepped closer. "I want you to plan my next investors' retreat." She blinked. "That's in 2 weeks. On the West Coast." "Yes. I already have events booked." "I'll pay the cancellation fees." "You can't buy people's calendars, Jinwoo." "You can buy time," he countered. "And I want your time." She stared at him, half annoyed, half speechless. "Why?" she asked. He paused. Then quietly, honestly, he said, "Because when you're around, I stop thinking about everything else." Her chest tightened. "You don't need me," Alma said. He shook his head slowly. "I need you to show up." Her breathing turned uneven. "This is unprofessional." "So is the way you look at me," he said. She stiffened. "I don't." "You do." Alma looked away. "This retreat better be worth it." "It will be," he said, "because I'll be there." That did nothing to steady her pulse. Before she could form a comeback, Jinwoo walked closer, so close she had to tilt her chin up. His voice dropped again, velvet and heat. "Alma, tell me again that rich men can't please a woman." She froze. He held her gaze, unwavering. "Say it," he whispered. She swallowed hard. "You're ridiculous." He smiled like he'd won something. "Say it anyway." "No, that's all right." He leaned in one last time. "My offer stands." Her heartbeat slammed against her ribs. She needed to leave. She needed to stop feeling this. She needed. "Good night, Alma," Jinwoo said, stepping back at last. "I'll expect your call." She left without another word. But the moment she stepped outside into the night air, her knees nearly buckled. Because deep down, she already knew she'd take the job. Not for the money, not for the prestige, but because she wanted to see what happened the next time he whispered something in her ear. Alma didn't sleep much that night. Every time she closed her eyes, she could still feel Jinwoo's presence, the warmth of his breath so close to her ear when he whispered, "Try me." She hated that it made her pulse pound and her thoughts scatter. By morning, she had made a decision. She would take the job, not for the money, not for the prestige, but because a part of her needed to see what he would do next, needed to see if he could live up to that challenge. 3 days later, Alma found herself boarding a private jet to California, suitcase in hand, heart racing. The retreat at Jinwoo's Sagewood Hills estate promised exclusivity, top investors, and pressure that would make or break her reputation. She barely noticed the scenery below, lost in thoughts of how impossible he seemed, how magnetic, how infuriatingly confident he was. When she arrived, the estate was breathtaking, modern lines, glass walls, an infinity pool overlooking rolling hills. But Alma's eyes immediately sought Jinwoo. He was leaning casually against a sleek black car, sleeves rolled up, eyes scanning her as though he had been waiting. She tried to mask her awareness, but he caught it immediately. If you're hooked on Alma and Jinwoo's tension and can't wait to see what happens next, hit that like button and comment below what you would do if you were in Alma's shoes. "You made it," he said, voice low, smooth. "And on time, too. Impressive." Alma raised an eyebrow. "I don't work to impress you." He smiled. "I know. That's why I like it." Her pulse jumped at the intensity in his gaze. She tried to focus on the clipboard in her hand, the schedule she had memorized, the retreat preparations, but he had a way of making all her defenses collapse with just a look. "Let's get to work," she said, stepping past him. But he followed, quiet, almost gliding, close enough that she felt his presence without turning around. Throughout the afternoon, Alma coordinated staff, arranged seating, checked catering, and confirmed audiovisual setups. Jinwoo hovered, not intrusively, but with the kind of attention that made her nervous and frustrated in equal measure. Every time she looked up, his eyes were on her, reading her reactions, testing her composure. During a break, Alma stepped outside to get air, the California sun warm against her face. She thought she was alone until a shadow fell across her. She turned, and there he was. "You look exhausted," Jinwoo observed, voice low and calm. "Do you want a drink? Water, coffee, anything?" Alma's jaw tightened. "I don't need anything. I need focus." He raised his hands in mock surrender. "Focus. Got it. But don't pretend you don't want a moment of reprieve." His voice carried that same teasing undertone from the gala. "Even I need to breathe sometimes." She ignored him, but he wasn't done. Stepping closer, his voice softened, intimate. "Alma, you keep running, but I can see everything you're holding back. I know it scares you, but I also know you want it. Admit it." Her breath caught. She turned away, gripping the balcony railing. The ocean breeze was a poor distraction against the heat he ignited in her chest. "I don't," she started, but he cut her off. "Yes, you do," he said firmly. "You've been thinking about this since New York. Since I whispered," his voice dropped almost to a whisper. "Try me." The words repeated in her mind like a dangerous mantra. She gritted her teeth and forced herself to look at him straight on. "You think a whisper can make me lose control? You're insane." He smirked, stepping even closer. "Not insane, just certain." The rest of the afternoon passed in a blur. Alma tried to stay professional, but every glance from Jinwoo, every subtle smile, every near touch sent a jolt through her. During the evening walk-through, when she bent to adjust a chair in the VIP lounge, he leaned in, just enough for her to feel the heat of his body close to hers. "You should be careful," he murmured, right by her ear. "You might start liking me." She straightened abruptly, cheeks flushing, heart hammering. "I'm not going to like you." "You already do," he said softly, straightening beside her. "And that's okay." Alma wanted to argue, to put space between them, but she found herself almost frozen. Every rational thought screamed that she had to remain professional, that she could not let this billionaire pull her into whatever he was offering. But the tension, the intimacy, the raw pull between them, was impossible to ignore. That night, Alma retired to her suite, trying desperately to organize her notes and calm her racing heart. She thought she was alone until a knock came at the door. Her pulse jumped, and instinctively she took a step back. "Alma," Jinwoo's voice said, quiet, deliberate. "May I come in?" She hesitated. Professional boundaries screamed at her, but something in his tone, vulnerable, patient, almost desperate, made her pause. "This isn't appropriate," she said, voice trembling slightly despite her efforts. "Neither is ignoring what we're feeling," he replied. "I'm not here to pressure you. I'm here to be honest." The door opened and he stepped inside. Their eyes met, and the air between them felt electric, heavy with words neither dared say aloud. He closed the door softly behind him, leaning against it, watching her. "You've been holding back," he said, "and I've been patient, but I can't anymore. You need to see me, not as a billionaire, not as someone with power, but as someone who wants you." Alma's chest tightened. I can't." "You can," he interrupted, stepping closer. "You just don't know it yet. I can wait, but I won't leave. Not until you understand what this could be." She swallowed hard. Every part of her wanted to flee, but another part, the one that had already responded to him in New York, was rooted to the spot. The attraction was too strong, the pull undeniable. Then he whispered almost reverently, "Alma, try me. See if I can make you feel something real." Her knees felt weak. Her breath hitched. For a long moment, neither of them moved. She wanted to run, wanted to scream, wanted to argue, but every instinct, every feeling in her body told her that saying yes, even just for tonight, would change everything. A tension-filled silence stretched between them, broken only by the distant sound of wind through the open balcony doors. Alma's mind raced, battling caution and desire. Jinwoo's gaze never wavered. He wasn't threatening. He wasn't demanding. He was just waiting. And that was the hardest thing of all. Alma stood frozen, caught between fear and temptation. Jinwoo mere inches away, and the unspoken promise of what was to come. Night had fully settled over Sagewood Hills, and the estate shimmered under strategically placed lights. Alma tried to focus on the retreat schedule, reviewing seating charts and investor notes, but Jinwoo's presence lingered like heat behind her eyes. Every time she looked up, he was there, just watching, waiting, patient but intense. Finally, she couldn't take it. "Why are you still here?" she asked, frustration masking the nervous flutter in her chest. "Because I'm supposed to be," he said softly, stepping closer. "And because I want to be." She swallowed hard. "You shouldn't want to be. This is complicated." "Complicated doesn't scare me," he said. "Not when it comes to you." Alma's hands trembled as she set down the papers. Her logical mind screamed, "This is a billionaire. He's dangerous. He's reckless. Don't fall for this." But every fiber of her being defied that warning. He reached for her hand. She flinched instinctively, then froze when his touch lingered, gentle but unwavering. "Alma, you feel it too. Don't fight it." Her voice was barely audible. I don't know if I can trust it, or you." Jinwoo stepped closer, closing the distance until only inches separated them. His voice dropped into a whisper, warm and intoxicating. "Trust me. That's all I ask. Let me show you that there's more than power and money. Let me show you me." The tension was unbearable. Alma's chest heaved, her pulse racing as he tilted his head, gazing into her eyes like he could read every hidden desire. She wanted to run, but she couldn't. Something in him anchored her, demanded she stay. "You're insane," she breathed. "No," he said with a slow smile. "I'm deliberate. I know what I want, and I've never wanted someone like this before. You." Her knees weakened. She stumbled back slightly, and he caught her, arms firm but protective around her waist. She froze under his touch, mind spinning, body reacting to a heat she tried to deny. "You don't have to decide tonight," he murmured, his lips brushing her ear. "Just let me in. One step." Alma closed her eyes, letting the warmth of him sink into her. For a heartbeat, everything else, the retreat, the investors, the world outside, vanished. Then a sharp knock at the door jolted her back to reality. She flinched. Jinwoo frowned, but didn't move away. "Just a sec," she whispered, stepping toward the door. A staff member handed her a tablet. Nothing important, just updates for the next day. She exhaled, her body still humming from the nearness of him. When she turned back, Jinwoo was closer, his hands resting lightly on the counter. "You can't hide from this," he said, voice low and amused. "I'm not hiding," she said, though her voice wavered. "Yes, you are. And I don't plan on letting you," he replied, and before she could respond, he leaned in, capturing her lips with his. It wasn't gentle, it wasn't slow. It was deliberate, powerful, consuming. Alma froze, shock and desire colliding, before surrendering to the intensity. It was a kiss that left no room for hesitation, a kiss that demanded every ounce of attention she had. When they finally pulled apart, her breath came in ragged gasps. He rested his forehead against hers, voice soft. "See? That wasn't so complicated." "You!" she whispered, words failing. I know, he said with a confident, almost teasing grin. And it's only the beginning. The following day, the retreat went flawlessly, but as always, the world had a way of intruding. A photo of Jinwoo and Amma laughing intimately during a private session leaked online, igniting rumors and speculation. Investors whispered, staff gossiped, and Amma's phone buzzed incessantly. She felt exposed, vulnerable, and furious. Her carefully built reputation teetered on the edge. Jinwoo noticed immediately. He found her standing on the terrace, phone in hand, eyes dark with anger. You're scared, he said softly, reading her expression. I'm angry, she snapped, and worried. This could ruin everything. He stepped close, taking her hand. It won't. I won't let it. Your career, your respect. It matters to me more than any deal I've ever had. I'll handle the fallout. You just stay, you. Amma's voice broke slightly. I can't drag you into this. He shook his head. I'm already in it. And I choose to be. I choose you. For a long moment, she said nothing. The tension between them was electric, charged with desire, fear, and raw vulnerability. Finally, she whispered, I don't want to lose you. You won't, he said, voice steady. Not now, not ever. Despite her fears, they embraced, letting the world outside slip away. But the scandal had opened a crack she couldn't ignore. Amma knew she needed space, both to protect herself and to gather her thoughts. Stay, Jinwoo murmured, sensing her hesitation. I need time, she admitted, her voice trembling. I can't do this, with everything collapsing around us. He nodded, reluctantly stepping back. If that's what you need, I'll wait. But know this, I'm not going anywhere. And I'm not apologizing for wanting you. Weeks passed. Amma focused on rebuilding, on reclaiming her business. But every evening, every quiet moment, her thoughts returned to Jinwoo. And then, one rainy night, a knock on her office door shattered her solitude. She opened it to find him, soaked from the storm, eyes full of raw honesty. I shouldn't be here, he said, voice rough. I know I left things messy, but I can't pretend I can breathe without seeing you. Amma swallowed hard, emotions tangled. You risked everything before. Why come now? Because I can't hide it anymore, he said. I don't care about deals, about reputation. I care about you. I care about us. Tell me to leave, and I will, but don't lie and say you haven't missed me. Her defenses cracked. She stepped toward him, closing the distance, letting herself feel the pull she had denied for weeks. I've missed you, she admitted, voice barely above a whisper. Jinwoo's hand found hers, firm and warm. Good, because I'm not leaving again. They stood in the rain, holding on, letting the world fall away, until words were unnecessary. When she finally smiled, he leaned in, lips brushing hers softly. You've changed me, he said, his voice low. Made me realize strength isn't control. Strength is letting someone in, trusting them with everything. Amma's heart swelled. Then, let's be strong together. He nodded. Forever. And just like that, everything, the scandal, the stress, the fears, felt distant, powerless against what they had built. Trust, desire, and a love that neither money nor judgment could touch. Before the camera crew arrived the next morning for the final retreat event, Jinwoo whispered in her ear, playful yet tender, Never stop laughing like you did that night, and never stop being mine. Amma smiled, letting herself feel safe, wanted, and undeniably alive. If you've been captivated by Amma and Jinwoo's story, make sure to subscribe for more high-drama romance. Like the video to support these stories, and comment below with your favorite moment. Was it the private jet tension, the Sagewood Hills kiss, or the final reunion? Because for Amma and Jinwoo, this was only the beginning.